Yo, what is up guys, and welcome to another Honkai Star Rail video. So this season of Memory of Chaos was by far one of the most difficult ones I've ever faced. Especially the second half featuring the new Aventurine boss. This one right here, you might have encountered him already if you did the main storyline. I didn't understand his mechanics at first until I did a couple of runs, and then we eventually got it down and finished the stage. The first half was a pretty standard stage for the Memory of Chaos, so I just brought my E2 Imbibitor Lyone team featuring Ting Young, Sparkle, and Fufu Shen. For the second half, I finally built up my E2 Acheron, so we'll be using her on that team, along with RuMay, Pela, and Japart as the sustainer. Initially, I ran Branya instead of RuMay just for the extra advance forward and potential extra crit damage, but I actually found out that the main issue with the second half is more of survivability rather than damage. Of course, you'll see in a moment here, it took me quite a few cycles to actually clear the second half, but if I can't even survive, like what's the point of doing more damage? So I decided to bring RuMay for the extra break effect efficiency as well as being able to break for the ice element, furthering my survivability, along with the fact that RuMay can extend the weakness break duration. Alright, that's enough of my rambling. Let's continue on to the gameplay. Alright, the first half, two Ting Young techniques, followed by Sparkle's technique, Fufu Shen's Matrix technique, and then we initiate the fight with Imbibitor Lunane's technique. Alright, so we smash the 2 key as usual, so Ting Young can get off her ultimate. I initially did a few attempts with Zile on the first half, and you can clear the first half with Zile, no problem. All the enemies are weak to Quantum. However, that dinosaur to the right of me, that one next to the fat robot, he has a mechanic where if he's not weakness broken, he literally takes no damage. Like, actually takes 0 damage, and it's kind of a hard counter to Zile since she's more like a burst DPS, and a good way to deal with this dinosaur is actually to have a damage dealer that has sort of splash damage or AoE, like Imbibitor Lunane, Jing Liu, if he were weak to ice, where you can actually weakness break them slowly with the splash damage and have your supports like Fu Shen and Ting Young use their basic attack on the dinosaur thing and eventually weakness breaking him. The problem with Zile is her damage, she doesn't have like real AoE. She has Resurgence where she can get extra turns, but all that extra damage she gets from Resurgence and the extra turns, it's just wasted if you blow it all on the dinosaur. So if you were to use Zile on the stage, you would have to focus down the fat robot and then somehow have your supports eventually weakness breaking down that dinosaur. Either way, he's just a pain to deal with unless you, like I said, you have some sort of splash damage like Imbibitor Lunane, in my opinion, is a much better option to deal with this stage. We just tap it here with the I don't know if that was a regular basic attack or enhanced basic attack. Either way, here's his ultimate to start off the first half. And the most annoying part is you gotta deal with this dinosaur twice. He's on the second wave as well. So yeah, we're just slow. We ignore him completely, basically, on both of these runs until we have him fully weakness broken. Once he's fully weakness broken, he actually takes quite a bit of damage, and that's when you want to blow all your damage on him. He's gonna do his little roar. See, as you can see, we are using Ting Young to eventually whittle down his weakness bar. Here we just basic attack with Sparkle because I believe I need to refresh the Matrix on Fufu Shen. Alright, there's Ting Young's ultimate onto Lunane, giving him full energy. Here I'm checking stats real quick. Checking if Lunane has the crit damage buff from Sparkle from the previous turns, and he does, so we use his ultimate right here and right now. Refresh the Matrix. Pop the ultimate. And this actually weakness breaks the dinosaur, and you can see here we start focusing him down. And we do almost 300k damage. See, once he's weakness broken, he takes a bunch of damage. And that's when you want to blow all of your burst damage onto him. Here's Sparkle's ultimate. Regain some skill points. Kokali is going to charge up her special ability. We're gonna try to deal some more damage onto her. Here it doesn't really matter which one we target. We go for Cocalia. And we're gonna buff up Lyone again. Sparkle's gonna push him up. Hopefully he does enough damage. Here we focus Cocalia still, because I think the ultimate... Well, actually, we didn't even need the ultimate. The dinosaur just dies from the enhanced basic attack. And here, I think we're a little bit short on damage to finish it off, but the Resurgence procs, and we finish the cycle within 2 cycles. Alright, next half, RuMay's technique, Gepard's technique, and we initiate the fight with Payla's technique for the extra defense down. This half was an absolute pain in my butt. It took so many attempts before I was finally able to clear this. And like I said before, it is mostly due to not being able to survive Adventuring on the second wave. Yeah, Gepard had some issues keeping up with his damage, and like he has a lot of hard CC as well. This is where if you have a sustainer that has good cleanses or just anti-crowd control, it'll make the run a lot easier. Unfortunately, my only source of anti-crowd control is on Fufu Shen, and she was used on the first half, so we're just going to have to make do with Gepard here. Here we pop Payla's ultimate. As you can see, Acheron's already at 3 bonus stacks, so this is sort of a waste of a debuff, but I really wanted to get the defense down on the enemies before I unleashed Acheron's ultimate, since like basically 80%, maybe even like 80 to 90% of Acheron's damage all comes from her ultimate, and if you guys didn't notice, that was like 1,000,000 damage there. Oh my god, I've never dreamed of doing 1,000,000 damage in Memory of Chaos. Like, the only time I've ever seen numbers that high is in Simulated Universe, and that's when I use Imbibitor Lyone on the propagation path. So, Acheron is just absolutely disgusting. And mine isn't even fully built yet. She still has room to grow. Like, I haven't fully invested in her yet. I just have her built up to a degree where I can at least clear MOC 12. Alright, so here we're going to focus down the fat robot, although I do want to kill off that Ascended Maiden to the left because she's really annoying. She has that debuff where lowers your max HP, and since I don't have an actual healer, I have a shielder instead. Having my max HP drop to like 50% or 60% is really, really bad. I've learned that from my previous failed attempts, so... Also, it really sucks here. I probably would have been able to finish off this. I still didn't kill this fat robot. Oh my god. I probably would have finished this run 1 cycle earlier had I killed that fat robot somehow. So yeah, that kind of blows. Just a little bit lack of DPS. It's just the marginal gains or marginal damage that's causing me to not finish the run 1 cycle earlier, but it doesn't really matter that much, I guess. Alright, here we're going to use Gepard's skill. If it actually landed the freeze, that would have been really nice, but unfortunately, my Gepard's actually E1, so it's 100% base chance, but he doesn't have enough effect hit rate, even with payloads like, I think it's her Trace 4 or something. Anyways, here's Acheron's ultimate. 300k on a single target is not bad. And this is where RuMay's, like, usefulness comes in. Since we broke Venturine and RuMay has that ultimate, mechanic where they get weakness broken for an extended period, it allows us to stall for some more time. And the fact that she's also Ice Element and she can help the team whittle down Venturine's weakness bar as well also helps a bit. So it's like a balance between offensive and defensive capabilities. Here we get the freeze, which is nice. There's Acheron's ultimate. 250k, not too bad. 1 HP, 1% HP. Just a little tap from Payla. And here is the second half, the most annoying half. This part, if you don't understand the mechanics, you're basically screwed. So I'll explain in a moment here, once we get to that part. Here's RuMay's ultimate again. Gepard's going to light tap him. We're going to save the ultimate until it is his turn. Okay, there you go. Or until Payla takes her turn. We actually save... You need to save any character's ultimate that can do AoE here. Because how this mechanic works is you need to try to roll a higher number than what Aventurine has. And if you have an AoE attack or ultimate, the odds of you obviously landing a higher number with all those dice rolls will be much higher. So obviously, RuMay and Japard are screwed. They don't really deal any AoE damage, and it's impossible to roll past an 8 with a single die. So here we're going to pop Palos' ultimate again. And the thing is, if you win against Aventurine, your ultimate refreshes, so don't feel like the need to save up your ultimate on your Acheron if you're using Acheron or any of your characters that have AoE ultimates. Just use it right away when Aventurine does that little gambling dice mode. Also notice I got quite lucky here. I think my, RuMay resisted that imprisonment, and she only has about like 30 to 40% effect resist. My Japard actually probably has more effect resist, and he even got imprisoned, so I got a little bit lucky with the RNG there. Got the freeze off, not bad. Trying to get the ultimate up, not enough energy unfortunately. We do get RuMay's ultimate, so we pop that. And here with Acheron's ultimate, it should be just enough damage to finish him off before the end of the cycle. And there you go. Finished within 23 cycles remaining. Alright, now let me go over my characters and their gear real quick. Starting off with my Imbibitor Lyone, you guys might have noticed his stats are quite a bit different than what they usually are before. That's because I swapped out his relics with Zile's relics, since Zile decided to take a nap for this season of Memory of Chaos. Alright, here you go, these are his stats. He lost about 10% crit rate, but he gained like 40% crit damage. Ideally, this is where I want Lunane's stats to be. Of course, if he can get above 70% crit rate for the Rutilant set, that'd be great. But since we ran Fufu Shen, that didn't really matter that much. His light cone is still going to be on the Fall of an Eon at S5. Trace is fully maxed out. And here you go, here is Relics. Zile's Relics, basically. Pretty cracked, in my opinion. So I don't really regret farming that Quantum Domain for like the entire first half of this game. Yeah, pretty good overall. And the reason why the Quantum Domain was so good on the first half is because all the enemies were actually weak to Quantum. So on top of the 10% defense boost that you usually get, which makes this set like overall just viable on almost every DPS, it gave an additional 10%. So you got 20% defense penetration on the first half. So I would recommend you guys put the Quantum set on any DPS you have if you're running them on the first half. It is absolutely broken. Otherwise, if I weren't running this set, I'd be running the 2-piece Musketeer and the 2-piece Imaginary set on my Imbibitor Lyone. As for Idolon, you guys should already know, he's at Idolon 2. Alright, next is my Ting Young. These are her stats. Light Cone is Dance 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 at S3. These are her traces. Relics, 4-piece Musketeer with a Broken Keel set. Idolon, she's at Idolon 4. Alright, next is Sparkle. These are her stats. Light Cone is another Dance Dance Dance. Unfortunately, this one is only at S1. Traces. Relics, 4-piece speed set, and no planar set, unfortunately. I want Broken Keel on her, but I don't have enough pieces, so it's back to farming. I believe it's World 7, or was it World 6? I forgot already, actually. Idolon, she's at Idolon 0. Next is my Fufu Shen. These are her stats. Light Cone, I swapped her back to day 1 of my new life. Sometimes I use the Japard Light Cone, but in this case, the Japard Light Cone was used on Japard himself. These are her traces. I could do a little bit more investment, but we'll see. We'll see in the future. These are relics, 2-piece speed, 2-piece HP set, and I believe the ageless set, which is actually not bad, but I mean, I prefer Broken Keel. The crit damage is better. This set would be really good on my RuMay if I ran her with someone like Kafka or my DOT team. Idolon, she's at Idolon 0. I don't know why that spazzed out there. Holy crap. Alrighty, and now for the character you guys have all been waiting for. I literally left my Acheron at like base level, and then I got levels from killing the overworld mobs all the way to like level 25. And I was just too lazy to build her. I mean, she didn't have the relics to be built up, for like the first 2.5 weeks after pulling her. So, I mean, there'll be no point in building her anyways. But finally, I have some pretty decent relics on her now. So she's built, not fully built. There's definitely still room for investment and improvement. But anyways, these are her stats. Good crit damage. I would like... Actually, her crit rate's also fine because you'll see in a moment why her crit rate at 53% is optimal. But like I said, she can still get stronger. Lyone is her signature Lyone at S1. Traces definitely need more investment. I actually did my first couple attempts on the second half with a level 8 ultimate and level 6 traces other than her basic, obviously. And that didn't go too well. I was doing potato damage, so I decided to fully max out her ultimate. I just decided to convert some of the useless destruction and abundance trace material that we got for free from the Jingli Yu and Huohuo event all the way back, a couple of months back actually, because I figured I'm not building any destruction characters anytime soon, and any future abundance healers are probably going to use the new trace material that's been introduced in the Penacony 2.0 patch. So yeah, I figured those wouldn't be that useful anyways. So I just decided to convert those and level up her ultimate to level 10 and her skill to level 8. But like I said, I can still put some investment in the side traces here and probably get her... Well, I'm going to max out her tree besides her basic regardless. You kind of need to since she's a main DPS. But yeah, I'm going to wait for the double drop event for traces before I do that. Alright, these are her relics and they've been an absolute pain to farm these. And they're not even like perfect. They're good, but they're by no means bad, but they're not perfect. Like this one here. Pretty solid, one roll in the HP, which is decent, but I mean, it can always be better. One of these substats could be attack percent, so that would further her damage. But overall, this piece is pretty good. This one is not like it had a triple roll into crit rate, which I was amazed. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna keep this no matter what it rolls into after this, and then after that, I rolled into attack and break effect. But I mean, this is still pretty solid. I prefer like crit damage instead of one of these stats, and yeah, I mean, it's not bad, but I prefer like crit damage in place of HP, break effect, or even the attack percent. Crit rate, crit damage is just such a good combo to have, but for now, it'll have to do. This chest piece, I think I've said before, or actually maybe I didn't show you guys. I initially was going to toss this because it had attack, flat defense, and HP. I was like, okay, this is complete garbage. But I decided to roll it anyways because I was desperate for a crit damage headpiece. It rolled crit rate, and I was like, okay, we can gamble. And then it rolled crit rate again. I'm like, oh, okay then. And then it went into flat attack. I was like, okay, I'll give it another chance, and it rolled in a crit rate again. So this piece ended up being usable at the end of the day. It's by no means like the most cracked piece, but it went from an absolute garbage piece to a slightly usable piece that will probably be on Acheron for a while, or maybe the remainder of her Honkai Star Rail journey. These are her boots. I'm running attack percent because I kind of gave up on trying to run a faster Acheron. I think I'm just going to go with base speed, high burst damage, and run her with like a Bronya or something to advance her forward. So ideally, I want the crit damage substat, and this one only rolled into crit rate once. And like I said, I'm not really too interested in the speed substat, so this will get replaced eventually. Her planar sphere and link rope are... The link rope's really cracked, but trying to get this set and the speed for the set is impossible currently, so I am eventually going to have to farm out a different set or just get a better link rope and a better planar sphere for her, but this is what she's running currently, so still room for improvement there. Idolons, you guys should already know, she's at Idolon 2. Alright, next is my RuMay. These are her stats. I just realized that her break effect is really low. I must have messed up or was playing around with the relics a little bit too much and forgot to give her the optimal relics. Oh well, that might have affected my run a little bit. Her Lyone is Memories of the Past at S1. These are her traces. And here are her relics. Let me see where I went wrong here. Okay, here's the break effect. That's good. Might have been this piece here, actually. Yeah, I don't think this piece belongs to her. I must have swapped it with someone like Bronya or something. Yeah, this piece definitely does not belong to my RuMay. So that's where she lost all her break effect. Now we know. Other than that, the rest of her pieces seem fine. Idolon, she's at Idolon 0. Okay, next is my Pela. These are her stats. Lyone is the sweaty Lyone at only S2, unfortunately. I wish I had more copies of this. Traces, fairly underinvested. I feel like maybe I should put a little bit more investment into her ultimate and her, what do you call it, talent. Especially her talent, since I felt like if this was a higher level, I probably could have gotten her ultimate quite a few times during that second half run, but oh well. That's for future me to decide. These are her Relics 2-piece HP and 2-piece speed set with a broken planar sphere and link rope, unfortunately. Idolon, she's at Idolon 6. Alright, and finally we have my Gepard, who had sort of an issue keeping up with sustain in my earlier runs, especially since there was so much hard CC on the second half. It's one of his biggest weaknesses, unfortunately, same with Bailu. His Lycone is Moment of Victory at S1. Traces are very low investment. Maybe I need a little bit more investment in his ultimate, but I don't know. We'll see if I decide to use him in the future or if he just gets benched by another limited 5-star sustained support. These are his relics. I actually decided to run a 2-piece defense and 2-piece speed instead of the 4-piece defense set because I figured he needed more speed. He's just so slow. Without the speed set, he would be at like 133 speed. Although with RuMay, it would have made him fast enough. But I don't know if the 4-piece set for this would have 20% more shield. I don't think it would have made much of a difference because it was mostly just getting hard CC or crowd controlled. That was the main issue. Anyways, these are his Idolons. He's at Idolon 1. Alrighty guys, well that's going to be it for this Honkai Star Rail video. If you guys enjoyed the video or found it useful, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in my next Honkai Star Rail video. Peace.